Was a powerhouse, R&B, soul and neo, soul singer, songwriter and producer, whose rich, velvety voice defined an era of smooth, heartfelt music. Born on December 18, 1961, in Columbia, South Carolina, she first gained recognition in the late Lightyear Sevier as a member of the sequence, one of the first all-female rappers. She later transitioned into R&B, making waves with albums like Black 99 and Mahogany Soul, which featured classics like No More Rain and Blue the Blue. Her music blended soulful grooves, deep storytelling, and a gospel-rooted sound, earning her multiple
And hello, everybody. How are you doing? Want to say hello and welcome to some people into the show. Let you know that I appreciate you so very much for being part of what we do here. We distinctively want to get back into the case of Angie Stone because it is not dead. It is very much alive. And that being said, it's a lot of things to get out. There's information out here that people think that others have forgotten about, but we haven't. In fact, we've been keeping a very, very close eye on things. In fact, I'd like to even get into saying on the start off that I told you from the very beginning that Shanna Shell was shifty. I told you from the very beginning that Shanna Shell would as soon some point disappear, take a dive, and leave. I told you at some point that Shanna Shell would leave the family without a bag. Well, can anybody spot Shanna Shell? Can anybody tell me where Shanna Shell is? Can anybody tell me what is the situation? And allegedly, he's definitely not around. So you tell me, where was I wrong at in the beginning? You tell me when I tried to explain, get your affairs in order, I was wrong. Tell me that. I desire for someone to explain that to me. You see, it doesn't matter who delivers the message as long as the message is righteous. And a righteous message is definitely what I said. I didn't just say it, I brought you the receipts. Angie Stone passed away March 1st of 2025. And 3 days before Angie Stone passed away, Shanna Shell got a notary license. Yes, she was given a license to be a notary public. And after Angie Stone passed away, the first thing that she filed in the court system was paperwork for the estate of Angie Stone, notarized by her. And I told you back then that she could not do that. But no one paid attention to that. No one put any emphasis on that whatsoever. And now what's happened is this young lady have built enough to leave town and start life all over. But I told you it was coming. I told you that. And allegedly, just poof, in thin air. I told you the coder, Chester Wilkins, filed paperwork to the courthouse against the estate for the money that he was charging Angie Stone to hunt down her royalties. I told you this. I blatantly and bluntly gave you the information. I blatantly told you that Lethal Carter did not have commercial insurance on that Mercedes van the day he was driving and transporting them, period. I told you that he did not have that. I said it. I said it. I said it over and over and over again. You see, the fluff and stuff in the whole case is what everyone thought that has just died down and everyone just thought has disappeared. No, absolutely no. No, you got me twisted. If you really think that I've been sitting quiet and sitting back saying and doing nothing just because I may be afraid of what someone may do, I may be afraid that someone lambasts my name, I may be afraid that you put a whole 24-hour a day for day in on me, you got me absolutely wrong. You see, sometimes it is profitable just to sit back and pay close attention to who is going to do what and when they are going to do what they do. And now it is time to strike. And when it's time to strike, I mean bring down the wall of terror. I mean give you information that would put you so absolutely close, it is undeniable. Today, we're going to recap a little bit. Today, we're actually going to bring Donte Daily back to the forefront so that you could understand where this case began. There's some things that Donte Daily is going to say, and it's going to rock you to your foundation. At least in the next few days, he should. We're going to present to you the court records in coming days to show you exactly where this suit is, who's filed, why they filed, and what they expect. That's what we're going to do. We're going to completely bring you up to date on everything. So without further ado, I'm going to take this time to let you hear Donte Daily's interview with me. Okay, so you did file suit.
Yeah, we had to with the Sprinter van and the truck.
Okay. So, because you weren't listed on the suit with the twins, them.
Nah.
So you have a separate attorney.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And did y'all formally file yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now let me say this: to this date, there's been no filing of Donte Daily on the court case against Lethal Carter. And allegedly, the reason why there is no filing of Donte Daily against Lethal Carter, because Donte was brought to the table, to the show with Lethal Carter. Let's get back in it. Okay. All right. Okay. So well, could I ask just this question? Was she in the van?
Was she in the van?
Yes.
When?
The day of March 1st.
Yeah. Everybody knows she was in the van. We all was in the van.
Yeah, no, but I'm just asking the question because there's just so much confusion out there. You know, where was she sitting on the van?
She was in the back of the van. Yeah, she was in the back of the van. I was in the front, so I didn't know they placements and stuff. I sat right next to the driver, and then it's a petition wall.
Right.
So I'm not sure where she was sitting at.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to violate the principle of your.
No, most definitely. I definitely understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything that you could tell me about it?
I can tell you, man, that was a great night. I could tell you that, and it was a beautiful night for her. The city of Mobile. It was fantastic.
Okay.
Other than that situation that happened, yeah, it was a great night. And the twins would say it. You know, the twins, I know they going through what they going through and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But overall, the twins and them, they know it. You know, it was a good night, man. She did an amazing job on stage. If I ever get my cell phone back from the state troopers, I got video footage and stuff that I'll release once all of this stuff is taken care of.
Oh, okay. So the troopers have your cell phone. Any reason for that?
They got all of our cell phones to verify any texting or anything that was said just because somebody died.
Oh, so nobody got to keep their cell phones. All the cell phones was confiscated.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Question.
Yeah.
Were there any firearms?
No.
No?
Never. Never will. Never. That's one thing we don't play. Thank you.
Okay.
Especially traveling across state lines.
I mean, common sense would tell you that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
All of that's right now. That's been released. You know. I'm so sorry. Can I have some seasoning? Yeah, all that's been released about was the actual police statement. So it wasn't nothing like that. Yeah, I'm looking like that. Yeah.
So your suit is going to be against the Sprinter Company and Lethal.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Who hired you for that concert?
Nobody hired us though.
You see, right there, he said nobody hired us. Angie didn't hire him. Angie definitely didn't have him to come on the trip. Angie Stone did not hire Donte Daily. No, she did not. I'm going to say that again. Angie Stone did not hire Donte Daily at all. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. And just as Donte said, he said he's filing a lawsuit. But currently, there is no documentation in the courthouse that says that he is suing Lethal Carter and the Sprinter Company at all. He's filed a claim against the insurance company, Liberty Mutual. And Liberty Mutual did not insure the Sprinter van to travel down the highway. It had personal coverage on it. Personal coverage on that Sprinter van is what it had. And Daphne, no, we do not know where Shanna is. I have a suspected idea, but I'll have it more confirmed by the end of the week. So Donte goes on to say that the owner of the Sprinter brand van is not who we thought it was. Mr. Robinson is not the owner, but yet Mr. Robinson is the owner. And Mr. Robinson was not even on the streets when they got the van to go do the job. Because Mr. Robinson has been in prison since 2023. Make that make sense. See, either Lethal allegedly had control of the van the whole time, or he had to go to one of Mr. Robinson's restaurants or wherever, allegedly, and pick up the van to go and transport them to Alabama. The second thing is, if you're the driver of the van, driving back a few hours, late coming behind a concert, why would you not be resting rather than be standing on the stage the whole time? I don't know about you, but I've stood on the stage during the concert plenty of times, and I wasn't even the one performing, and I was tired. I was drained. It's a lot of energy. You're feeling the energy from the crowd. You're feeling the energy from the band. You're feeling the energy from the artist, and you get excited, and it's energy draining. Believe it or not, if you don't think so, go to a concert, go backstage, and you'll find out how draining it is. It can be real draining. It could be real draining. So you're going to tell me that you're going to get off of the stage, not sleepy, not tired, and you're going to get in that van and drive them those hours and not be tired? You know, this is crazy. This is totally absurd. Now, let's tie some other things together inside this. Let's talk about Mr. Lethal Carter for a moment, Donte Daily's alleged partner. Mr. Carter was hired. Mr. Carter is also the same individual that hired Chester Wilkins to hunt for Angie Stone's royalties. I'm giving you an update to bring you through everything. Chester Wilkins, a.k.a. the Coder, was paid to find the royalties. Now, why in the world would anybody need payment to track down royalties? I'm not sure. But remember, I said back then that what Diamond and Michael should have done was got someone to do a forensics accounting report to find out how much money have actually been collected in royalties and by whom and who has the money. I said this, but yet to this date, no forensics report has been done to give report to the Stone family in reference to where the money went or is. I'm going to repeat myself. To give a report to where the money is or went. Now, I'm about to play something for you. And I want you to see this for yourself. Give me a second here. And I'm going to pull it. Here we go. Sunshine has come, and I'm all cried out. There's no more rain in this cloud. My sunshine has come, and I'm all cried out. There's no more rain in this cloud.
A huge thing. Shout out to my daughter, Lady Diamond, to Swaybo Twain, to Sacred Sound, to Ashton Evans. I mean, all the people that are in my immediate circle, to Cornerstone Management, a new management company that is holding me down. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. From Miss Juanita Wynn, for Paxton, Stone Paxton, wherever you are, for Sal Benton. Thank you guys so much for being in the clutches with me. The Bo, Lee Carter Lee, Christopher Williams, Ronnie Lloyd. I mean, I could go on and on and on for the people that are in my immediate 1, 2, 3 circle. But I will stop right here because the night is, we're getting late.
Just believe. No more struggle. No more trouble. It's getting better. Just believe. No more struggle. And no more trouble. It's getting better. You gotta do. Just believe. Tell somebody. No more struggle. No more.
I want you to know where the facts are. Now, if you listen closely to what Angie Stone said, she gave us a roadmap to the investigation. Angie Stone gave us a roadmap of a name and group of people in a positive manner and positive likeness and looking for the future. Let's talk about looking for the future. Vasal Benford, a prestigious individual in the music industry whom has authority over the B.B. King estate, who is the last person to have a contract with Angie Stone in reference to her royalties. Therefore, legally, at this point, Mr. Benford would be the authorized person to collect the royalties of Angie Stone, not Dakota, Chester Wilkins. Chester Wilkins would like to think that he is the person in control, yet he was not. So the last say, I'm telling you, resides with Vasal Benford. Now, there is nothing negative to be thought there, so let me make that clear. There's no negativity to be thought of Vasal Benford, because there has been no negativity that has come from Mr. Benford or his organization, period. Nothing but help. Let me make that clear. Nothing but help. Now, why would I mention that? I mention it because if you know where the estate lies, then you'll know why different people were trying to collect money in different ways because they knew there was no other way that they could get it. You see, Shanna Shales could not get a reasonable relationship with Mr. Benford's organization because she was just too shifty. She was just too crafty. Lethal Carter could not get a relationship with Mr. Benford's organization because he is too shifty. He is unreliable, uncredible. So with all the wisdom that is there to be used in a righteous manner, that's what Mr. Benford's organization has done. Use wisdom and let things play through. So I'm going to repeat myself. There is no negativity whatsoever pointed towards Mr. Benford and his organization. I'm just laying out the roadmap for you. Now, let's go to the plausibility of the lawsuit. CSRT have filed to have their name removed from the jurisdiction of Georgia away from the case that the six have filed. Donte and Lethal was in the van with the six, yet Donte and Lethal's name is not on that lawsuit. Not at all. Yet Donte is going directly to the insurance company. And why would he do that? Simply because there was not enough coverage to cover his injuries, possibly. And he's seeking pain and suffering. He's seeking a mini bag. Yet, in order to get this accomplished, he would have to work with Mr. Carter so that there would be some sort of agreement there. Why? Because they were working together. Now, as Mr. Daily has also stated, that the police department had recovered their cell phones from the van. And in the investigation, they acquired records from those cell phones. Now, to this date, we don't know what those findings are yet. We will have them. But as of this date, we don't. But they did acquire the cell phones. It was almost 60 days later that the cell phones was returned. I know factually to Donte Daily and Lethal Carter. Now, allegedly, Lethal Carter is not even in the jurisdiction of Georgia. Allegedly. He probably went back home to Louisiana. Now, you tell me how an individual on active probation for 9 years, 9 months could possibly move around like Lethal Carter and still yet not be charged. Did Lethal Carter have the proper driver's license to even drive the Sprinter van with passengers as commercial hire? But we know that commercial hire was not authorized because the Department of Transportation did not give it clearance and or authentication to drive on the highway because it needed $5 million worth of insurance coverage that it did not have. It didn't have it. It didn't happen. They didn't have it. It did not happen. I need you to understand clearly that it did not happen. No coverage. None. Instead, we get a alleged stunt driver type of activity that causes an accident and then bring the demise of our R&B loved one, Angie Stone. Yeah. And you want us to be quiet? You want us to stop talking? Just because of our own past? I don't think so. I don't think so. This alarm needs to be rang, and it needs to be rang loud. This alarm should be shouted to the rooftop because we should not allow someone as Angie Stone to be forgotten just that easy. You mean tell me the world stopped listening and wondering what happened to Angie Stone just so suddenly and so quietly going away? Poof. Nobody's going to talk about it. Poof. We just mentioned it in passing. Poof. Here's the latest update. Poof. That's it. No. No, 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 no. Hell to the no, no, no. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. So if I gotta take all the hits, if I gotta be lambasted, I don't care because I am going to keep this alive. I am going to keep this in the forefront of your thought process so that you do not forget the late, the great Angie Stone. And more so, I repeat myself, and more so, the legacy of Angie Stone must be kept alive. It has to be. You see, I can't talk about Malcolm Jamal Warner because I did not know Malcolm Jamal Warner. I have never met Malcolm Jamal Warner. He was born in New Jersey, but I don't have enough information to go there. But I do with Angie Stone. On the day Angie Stone passed away, when that accident took place, she was on the phone talking to someone very significant in her life. And that person heard the accident. That person heard the impact. With Angie Stone was her first cousin, Sheila Hopkins. On Michael's birthday. Do you know the most prolific thing that happened to Angie Stone on Michael's birthday? I'm going to tell you. Angie Stone was granted the permission to have a kidney transplant done, with Sheila being her donor. And this is why Sheila Hopkins was with Angie Stone at the house, with Angie Stone when she left the house to go to Alabama, with Angie Stone the whole time, with Angie Stone when she was at dialysis the day before doing the concert in Alabama, with Angie Stone when it came to her demise, because she loved her. She wanted to see her succeed in life. She wanted her to have a part of her so that she could move on. With better health. Angie, with her frail health, had to still perform concerts in order to pay her bills, in order to keep things going, and to try and get a transplant. Now, months later, after her passing, allegedly, the home is gone. Allegedly, all things moved out of the house. It's gone. It's gone. And I feel so bad about that because at the point when we were talking about it, we could have done something to help the legacy, the children of Angie Stone keep things going. But there was no opportunity. There was no opportunity. There was no opportunity because all it was a bunch of grandstanding. A bunch of grandstanding. We got boots on the ground. We know what we're doing. And I told you, I tried to advise, I tried to give you information that will help you avoid the very same thing that you went through. Shanna Shell disappearing and hiding with the money and you not being able to move forward. With that property. I warned everybody. I made you aware of this. I made everyone aware of this. Go back and watch the videos that I have put up, and you will see that I was making everyone aware of this. But we all love Angie Stone. We all care about Angie Stone. We all want to see the legacy of Angie Stone stay alive. Why? Why did we allow things to get this way? I shared with you. I shared with you the information of being cautious. I shared with you the information of taking knowledge from others and letting professionals help so that you not lose the very thing that was left for you. I said this. I laid it out. The mortgage was so cheap on the home that if they had lost the house, they don't have a sense that God gave them because they couldn't keep it up. Why? Because they allowed Shanna Shell to collect money. And where is Shanna? Where is she? Where's the money? What is it to account for? You have products that was tried to be regenerated, taken away from the people that actually did the contracts with Angie Stone to get those products for sale. And what happened? The money went straight to Shanna Shell's account. Not allegedly, said so, verified by Diamond herself. Now you make that make sense. I did everything that I could to tell her with the love and compassion as I could possibly get to please do not allow this to happen. I pleaded. I gave my heart. But it's not too late. There's still plenty of light at the end of the tunnel. Plenty of it. But we've got to stay vigilant on top of this so that we know that recovery comes. This is what we have to do. This is what needs to be mandated by you, the fans, not me personally, not me as in what you like about me, not me and what my past is. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger to help keep you informed of what needs to happen. Nobody listened to my warnings. I told you, because I'm not just a jackass talking from the top of my head or from the crack of my behind. I have experience at this. And I could see all the writing on the wall. It was there. It was there. It was there all along. The comment was, we standing on business over here. I even went as far as to say, I have my opinion about Shanna Shell. But in respect of Diamond Stone, I would back off. I still have my opinion, but I'm going to back off. And I should have never, ever back off. I should have never, ever lifted my foot off of that young lady's head. I shouldn't have done it. I failed Angie. I shouldn't have done it, but it's not too late. No, it's not too late. It's not too late. People, we have to give an allegiance to the matriarchs of R&B, to the matriarchs that have kept our parents happy with the music, to the matriarchs that have kept us happy with music, to the matriarchs that have created a legacy for other young artists to come forth afterwards. This is an absolutely preposterous shame. Now, you can believe I'm going to be jumped on in all kind of ways for this. Well, hey, so be it. You know what? I'm not over here for clicks and views, and I'm not over here for the dollars. I don't care about the cash apps. I don't care about any of that. I care about Angie Stone's royalties being recovered. I care about Lethal Carter going to jail. I care about the state of Georgia standing up and protecting Angie Stone's legacy as they should have did from the very beginning by locking that man up. And they didn't do so. Yet nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's staying on top of it. Nobody. Nobody. Throwing bricks, throwing stones, throwing magnets, throwing bullets, throwing everything negative that you possibly can, but the truth of what is happening to Angie Stone's legacy. I have you to know I'm not afraid of anything. I have you to know that I'm not going to shut my mouth. I have you to know I am going to put every document forthwith that could be presented to present this case to the public, to the world, that I possibly can, because I'm not going to let it go away. And this is not the Angie Stone sector. This is the Lethal Carter sector, because Lethal Carter is responsible for the death of Angie Stone, and Lethal Carter is this sector. This is the Lethal Carter sector. Let me make myself clear. This is the Lethal Carter sector, because Lethal Carter is the cause and the action of this accident, and that's where it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So if anybody want to call it a sector, this ain't Angie Stone's sector. Let me make it perfectly clear. This is the Lethal Carter sector. That's what this is, the Lethal Carter sector. That's what this is, officially. I said it from my own mouth. This is the Lethal Carter sector. And I'm going to add the prosecutor's office from the state of Georgia into that. Because had y'all done y'all job in the very beginning, he would not have been able to be there that day for that accident. He wouldn't have been there. You see, let me tell you the story here. Let me tell you something about the state of Georgia. Do you know, if you're giving, say, 10 years, 15 years of probation in the state of Georgia, do you know that after 3 years of successful reporting, that you can be taken off of that probation? Now, I don't know if he's off of the probation, but I do know that after 2 years, he was not supervised harshly anymore. So he was able to travel and do whatever he wanted to do and not report to the state of Georgia. When in fact, any other time, you would need to notify the state that you're leaving from, that you're on probation from, going to another state, so that they would know where you are. And in fact, let me go one step further to explain something to you. When you're on probation, you're not supposed to have any police contact, negative or affirmative. If you have such contact, it must be reported to the probation department. And if the probation department looked into the contact of the police department from Alabama in the case of this accident, then they would have known that he was not in right standing when he left Alabama, driving a vehicle with the right amount of insurance on it, driving a vehicle that was unauthorized and unauthenticated by the Department of Transportation to even be on the road, thus him committing a crime. Now you tell me why this man ain't in jail for this. You tell me why. You tell me why there's no answer. You tell me why Fannie Willis hadn't brought this to the table. You tell me why Fannie Willis hadn't followed this. You tell me why Fannie Willis allowed this man to be convicted as a first-time offender when Fannie Willis' office know, and Fannie Willis herself may know allegedly, that this man was a many times convicted felon, and he was convicted under the name Lethal Carter for the first time as a first-time offender. Are you kidding me? This is an abomination. And you let this go? How do you sleep well at night, Fannie? How is it? How so? How so? Your office is so desperate, so derelict, that you can't even prosecute the cases outside of that you have correct names on. You can't even carry a good case on nationwide TV. In fact, worldwide, because it was carried on YouTube. So let's make it clear. Worldwide, not nationwide, worldwide. Your office made a buffoonery of yourself. You couldn't even handle preventing Donald Trump from becoming president of the United States. Why? Because you were too crooked yourself, Fannie Willis. You were in the pockets of your first man that you had on top of the job, and you and him doing the wacky, blah, 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 whatever, allegedly, in the dumps that night, rolling in that sack. Crooked, using money. Crooked, paying him big money. And you and him, allegedly, sharing the money to do what you want to do. The chief officer. The chief officer. The chief officer in the state of Georgia. Now make it make sense. Would you do that? Make that make sense. You please make this make sense. Make it make sense for me. Anybody, please. See you, and I'll be right back.
Was this policy number put on like a police report?
It was.
Okay. What was the name of the guard that would have been our driver?
Lethal Carter.
Liefeld.
Carter.
Tartcher?
No. Charlie, Alpha, Randolph, Tango, Echo, Romeo.
And it was Liefeld was the first name?
Yes, Leethel.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to hold for just a moment for me, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the personal lines department, and I'm going to see if they pull that policy and if that matches and whatnot, and then I can bring you in there and you can go from there with them. Okay, so give me just a moment. Okay,
thank you so much.
You're so welcome. One moment. Okay, thank you for being so patient. So I have Luke on the line, and he was able to pull this up. He actually found there is a claim already started, so he's going to talk to you and go ahead and give you some information. Okay, so I appreciate you being patient.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
All right.
Thanks, Luke. Bye.
Now, you hear that? This is the insurance company that I called. An insurance company explained that the insurance policy for the Sprinter van was not a commercial policy. It was not a commercial policy at all, people. It was a personal policy. And guess whose name was on the personal policy? It was Lethal Carter. It wasn't the restaurants. It wasn't the elite transportation. It wasn't Mr. Robinson. It was Lethal Carter. Lethal Carter's name was on it. Now, I want to ask you, the YouTube jury, this question. If your name was Rat Bambo and you got a driver's license in the name of Rat Bambo and your license gets suspended or permanently taken away, explain to me, when you get a name change, how can you get another driver's license in a different name, but you're the same individual? You cannot. Let me help you with that. You can't. So tell me, how did Lethal Carter get a driver's license in the name of Lethal Carter? You see, there's crooked people in the state of Georgia, allegedly. There's people that somehow have some way and some connections as a cabal to do things that will allow a person to get these documents, and you know the person's real whatever, but you pass them through and you take their picture and you get them the license. Huh? How do you do that? Because I can tell you factually, you cannot. Once your license is suspended and revoked permanently, You cannot get another license in any other name. I don't care if you were married. I mean, if you were a single woman and you got married and you're trying to get a license under your new name, you cannot do it. Unless you restore the license under your old name, then you can get a license under your new name. Or you can add your new name to your license or change it out to your new name, but your license is active. If your license is not active, you cannot do it in no state because they have a registry that says that you don't have a valid driver's license. So they won't even allow you to take the test. Huh? They won't allow you to. They won't allow you to take the test. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They are not going to do it. Then they're not going to do it. They are not going to do it. They are not going to do it. Let me make myself clear one more time. They are not going to do it. Oregon Sunrise says, you're not reborn even if you change your name. You still get the same number. Absolutely correct. You get the same number. You don't get a new number. So you tell me, how is it that someone with some power in the state of Georgia don't have anything to do with this? You tell me how someone in the state of Georgia don't know anything about this. Somebody knows something, and we need to raise and sound the damn bell until somebody barks on this. And y'all need to stand with me on doing this. If you really love Angie Stone, if you really about Angie Stone, forget me. Take me out the picture. I'm just the messenger behind the mic. That's it. That's it. Ain't no clout, ain't no glory, ain't no nothing. This is about Angie Stone. So let's stand the hell up together and represent justice for Angie Stone. And again, I say, this is the Lethal Carter sector. Because Lethal Carter is the cause of this. So this is about Lethal Carter. But I got to give you the story so you completely understand what we're dealing with here. And now with the rambunctious Shanna Shell missing, out of action, allegedly, you tell me how someone is going to call her to do a deposition on her for that court case. They're going to have to depose her. They're going to need to depose her. Where's she at? I bet you Lethal know where she at. I bet you Lethal Carter knows where she is. Allegedly.
Shanna, come out wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you are. Shanna, come out wherever you are. We looking for you now. Shanna, come out wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you are. Shanna, come out wherever you are. Come on now. Gate.
Uh-huh. She bought land in New Mexico, not Mexico, New Mexico, in the United States. Shanna Shell bought property in New Mexico. New Mexico. Shanna Shell's mother, when she passed away, was living in New Mexico. That's what she did. Shannon said, I'm leaving on the midnight train to Georgia. On the midnight train. Woo, woo. I got the money and I need what I got so I can make it. I'm leaving on the midnight train to Georgia. All the hot sauce and t-shirts I sold, I got enough to go. I'm not making fun of it. But I told you she was a crook. I told you I didn't trust her. I told you what I felt about her. I told you. So let's lay out the court case for the lawsuit. They couldn't wait till Angie Stone was buried before they filed the lawsuit in court. No, they couldn't. Angie Stone was not even buried yet. And Donte didn't file yet. Lethal didn't file. Because Lethal was looking for money to come from Mercedes-Benz. And it is my belief, allegedly, that Lethal knew they was not going to get any information off of the box, the black box of the Mercedes. There were no airbags deployed on the Mercedes. None, period. Nada, zilch. There was no blood in the Mercedes. None. White seats, no blood. So now that leaves Donte for depositions. That leaves the twins for depositions. That leaves James for deposition. And that leaves Ashton for deposition. And the other person that would be left for deposition, none other than who? Shanna Shell. Why Shanna? Because Shanna went to the scene of the accident. Why Shanna? Because Shanna went to the hospital. Why Shanna? Shanna talked to the popo. Why Shanna? Because Shanna had the money. Why Shanna? Shanna hired Lethal Carter. That's why. She's tied into this thing all the way through. Why Shanna? Shanna filed for the estate to be turned over to Michael. She notarized the paperwork and she did the paperwork. Shanna prepared the paperwork for Michael. Shanna filed the paperwork for Michael. Shanna didn't get what Shanna wanted. Shanna couldn't keep the house, so Shanna dipped with what she could. And they also got to depose Sheila. And Shanna know there's a major conflict of interest. Diamond said that Shanna wasn't working for the family. Bullcrap. I just played you proof because Angie Stone, out of her own mouth, said thank you to Sacred Sounds. Angie Stone said out of her own mouth, talking to Shanna behind the camera, filming her, when she gave credit to all of those that were close to her. She said it. She outlined it. Family, I present to you, she told us who was there. She told us what was happening before she left. She told us. She gave us the names to work with. She didn't mention Dakota's name. She did not mention Chester Wilkins' name. You know why she didn't mention Chester Wilkins' name? Because Chester Wilkins took her money. Chester Wilkins got the money and didn't give her anything for the money. But Chester Wilkins had the audacity to file court records on behalf of the estate to collect the rest of the money that he didn't even do the job for. If you did the job, where are the checks? Chester? Dakota, where's the checks, Chester? Where's the money at? Where is it? Where is it? Somebody put in the chat, where is it? Where's the money? Where is the money, Chester? Where's the money? See, Mr. Benford had to come behind Mr. Wilkins and clean up the mess that was made. Uh-huh. Yeah. In coming days, you'll find out. You'll find out in coming days. And I'm going to say this again. Mr. Benford has not proffered any wrong in this. So I do not want anyone to say that I'm claiming so, because that's not true. Let me make that perfectly clear. Then on top of that, the document had a signature presented to the court that wasn't even Angie Stone's. It wasn't Angie's signature. That wasn't Angie's signature at all. No, it wasn't. It wasn't her signature. I verified that. Yes, there are close people that I could call to verify Angie Stone's signature, and I verified it. That's not her signature. In fact, I'll give you one even further. Diamond Stone herself said that was not her mother's signature. Now you make that make sense. You make that make sense. Thank you, Wendell. Lethal, Donte, Ashton, what happened to the $15,000? What happened to the money in the Crown Royal bag? Somebody say, yeah, tell me that. Would you please? Please explain that to me. What happened to the money that was in the purple and gold laced Crown Royal bag? $15,000 cash money. You tell me, where was that? See, for those of you that may not know, Angie collects her money in cash. She has to pay the band and whatnot, make payroll to them, and what's ever left, and then she has left for her to do the rest of what she needs to do. What happened to the money? It was said, Lethal, that she was outside of the van. Lethal, let me ask you a question. How many policies and how many lawsuits do you have against other companies allegedly for money? Yeah. How many? How many? How many? How many? How many corporations, Lethal, is your name on top of that have been canceled and closed with other Africans? And then this is not put down on Africans. So I don't want anybody to take this wrong. But you have corporations that are African owned with your name on it. How many of them? And how many of them are shut down after filing large lawsuits? How many of them? How is it, Lethal, that you own a corporation called Sacred Sounds 11 and Shanna owns Sacred Sounds? So allegedly, or were you planning on getting rid of Shanna and then taking over what she was doing, and then have all of Angie's assets come to you under Sacred Sound too? Was that it? Was that really where you were going? I'm starting to see a picture that looks stinking ugly. That's where you were going, my man, allegedly. That's what you were doing, Lethal. See, you got people in Atlanta, all scared of you. You terrorize them. You terrorize the women that you've been with. You terrorize everybody, beating them down with the violence that you have, sir. But I ain't a woman and I ain't scared. Lethal. You sent Shanna Shell to Angie Stone's house. You allegedly are the one responsible for her being around Angie Stone. You set that up, sir, because the two of you had something going on. Well, Tony, how can you say that? Well, let me qualify that. You see, on the day of the accident, Shannon was upset with Lethal because there was another woman around and she didn't like it. Well, if the two of you never had a relationship, if you two of you never had done the bunky at any other time, why would that been an issue? Huh? Why would it have been? Tell me that. Why would it have been an issue? I know why it would have been an issue. Because whenever that tweet go down to that plop, feelings get hurt. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. That's what it is. Yeah. 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 And then Shanna had all of the money going to her accounts. Her accounts. Now, I said, and I qualified this back then, and I said, the reason why the monies were going to the accounts, because Shanna knew Diamond was going through court herself. And with the kind of court case that Diamond was going through, it would be hard to achieve that. With the kind of court case Diamond was going through, it would be hard for her to be listed as the person that's over the estate. So that's why Michael was listed as the person. So she knew this. So that's why it got done that way. But see, Shanna didn't think that Diamond would be on the streets this long. Allegedly, she was betting on it that it wouldn't happen. But you see how God does? God protected Diamond. And because God protected Diamond, she's still on the streets. She thought that because Michael is the executor of the estate, that she could control Michael because Michael's health is frail also, and that maybe Diamond would be out of the way. That's what she thought. Because the week that Angie Stone was buried is the very same week that Diamond was indicted. So she thought Diamond was going to go to jail. She thought for sure Diamond would be in prison. She thought for sure Diamond wasn't coming back. And she thought she had the bag all to herself. She thought so. But she was wrong. God gave grace. Flag on the play. He gave grace. He gave grace. He gave grace. God gave grace. God threw a flag on the play. God prevented that play from being executed again because it was full of fault. That play was offside, Shanna. You made an offside move, Shanna. Too fast. That's why you did everything so quickly. You did it so very fast. Alfreda, good morning. Winnie Strong says that Diamond Stone shipped the hot sauce and other products to the store in Columbia, South Carolina. I will check on that, Alfreda. I don't know that, so I have to check on that and verify that information, and I'll get back with you on that. So, thank you for that. Wendell says he gave wisdom to Diamond, and she needs to start listening to people about Shanna. Daphne Howard says, where is the money? Where is the money, Shanna? Where's the money? Where's the money? If Diamond set up a store in Columbia, I'm proud of her for doing so, because that would be the stomping ground of where Angie got started in her music career. And I think that would be no more than right that be done. In fact, I would even say that should be a store and a museum in honor of Angie Stone. So I hope that is so. I will research that once I'm done. Now, let me end by saying this. We have been through a lot these past months. And we understand the pain that our people have in reference. We have to stay vigilant. My friends, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a plethora of people come after me for doing this. I'm just a person forgiven by God. Who's had my own bad shakes in life, but I've recovered from them. And in that recovery, just like Paul in the Bible, who was Saul, who was converted to Paul, who was a murderer, God cleaned him up and put him on the road to being one of the most prolific apostles teaching the word of God in the Bible. And so many people's lives today are changed just from reading the book of Paul. So many lives are changed today because Paul gave testimony about Jesus Christ to the world. And so just as God can use Paul, he could also use a vessel that have committed wrong in their past and brings forth something good. Because Paul brought forth good. So I'm not perfect. I'm not here to be perfect. But I am forgiven. And that being said, I will be on Lethal Carter's head every single day until that trial takes place. Point blank. That's where we are. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. And I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever been to the point where you thought you were so right and you lived a good life, but you got to the point where you realized that you needed forgiveness and you got down on your knees, and maybe you stood in a corner by yourself, or maybe in a place by yourself all alone, and you cried out to the God, and you said, forgive me. And he forgave you, and he delivered you, and he put you on a path of righteousness, and he put you on a path of prosperity. Why? Because he said, if you ask for forgiveness 70 times 7, I will forgive you. He also says, if you cannot forgive others who have wronged you, then how can I forgive you? So I don't think that many of us have a hell to put people in, and many of us do not have a heaven to put people in. But that is God's place. And he knows each and every one's heart. Now, I will say, if I've wronged you, I am sorry. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you've been wronged by me, I am sorry. I do my best to live as best I can. But I can tell you this much. I am redeemed. And not only am I redeemed, I'm forgiven. Not only am I forgiven, so are others that have asked for forgiveness. That being said, I want you to have a blessed and prosperous day, because I will be back tomorrow bringing you the rest of the story.